Hello everyone and welcome to CIT 141, Visual Concepts for Game Design. Today we're going to be talking about the basic techniques of 3D modeling and how you can use Maya to create 3D objects that you can use in a video game. You can see here what we're making today, and we'll be making a coffee cup and a rocket ship. I've broken this lesson down into a couple sections. In this section, I'll be talking about the basic theory of modeling in Maya. Then in the next two videos, I will be creating these objects and you can follow along. So let's break down these two objects and see how we would construct them in Maya. Many 3D models start as a set of primitives. Primitives make up the building blocks of modeling. So, primitives are basic 3D polygons: a sphere, cube, cone, torus, and cylinder. You can find these in Maya at your poly modeling shelf here in the top left. It's a good idea when talking about how to construct an object in 3D to start by identifying what primitives can make up the basic shapes of the model. You can look at it like you would modeling with clay. By starting with a basic shape, you can mold it into what you want it to be. Let's take the coffee cup. In its most basic form, a coffee cup is two pieces, the cup itself and the handle. When you break down these two shapes into basic primitives, you'll see that it can be represented by two cylinders. The cup is more squared, and the handle is bent into a curved structure, but they start as two cylinders. You could also, if you wanted to, start the handle as a torus, which you can then cut in half and then start the molding there. This is where you would start when making a coffee cup. You can take these two primitives, mold them into the shape you want, and then combine them in Maya. Now let's take a look at the rocket ship. This one is a bit more complicated because it has more than two parts. The first part is the fuselage, or the body of the rocket. If you break this out from the rest of the drawing, you can see that it looks like an oval. If you extrude that oval into a 3D object, you can tell that it is a stretched out sphere. The next object we're going to look at is the nose. So the nose is a little bit easier because if you look at it, you can tell that it looks like a cone. And you'd be right, it is a cone that's been squashed in the center to make it more rounded. The next objects we're going to talk about are the porthole and the engines. Both of these are actually the same primitive object. They are cylinders. The porthole is a cylinder that's been turned 90 degrees on its side, and the engines have been flared out at the base so that they look more like a rocket booster. The last part we're going to talk about are the fins. Now these can be a little bit more complex because when you look at them, they don't look like any particular base primitive. In fact, if you had to guess, you might look at it and say that it looks like it's a really flat cone because it's triangular, it's got a point. But if you look at it from its profile or from its front, you'll see that it's also very thin and very rectangular on this face, which means that you could actually start your fins as a cube. So what you would do is you would take a cube, make it long, long and flat, and then you would bend it into the curve that you want for these fins. So these are examples of how you can break down 3D objects into smaller parts using primitives as a base. In the next video, I'll be showing you how to make a coffee cup using these primitives, as well as a pretty cool trick to make modeling it a little bit easier. So see you guys then.